welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. In this video, I am explaining about the requirement validation and requirement management. Here, requirement validation is different from software validation. So, software validation means you are going to check the software for errors and correcting the errors. Requirement validation means you are going to check the requirements for errors and correcting the errors, right? So, here I am checking the requirements for errors, that is requirement validation. In the first part, I am explaining about the requirement validation, and the second part of this video, I am explaining about the requirement management, especially when there is a change in the requirements, how to do that. So, I am discussing about that in the second part of this video. So, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like and share the video with your friends. So, let me begin the explanation of requirement validation and requirement management. So, requirement validation is nothing but it is a process of checking the requirements for errors. Requirements are nothing but the services that needs to be provided by the software. That is the services what actually customer wants. So, if a requirement is wrong, obviously it may result in the wrong software. That's why requirement has to be tested. As you test the software for errors, in the same way you have to test the requirement. You have to test the requirement for errors. That is requirement validation. So, and one more important thing, analysis and requirement validation may overlap. Yes, while doing the analysis also you may check the requirement document for errors, right? So, this can be the separate activity, or this can overlap with the analysis also. While doing the analysis only, you can check the requirement for errors. There is also a possibility, right? And one more important thing, during the requirement validation process, different types of checks should be carried out on the requirements in the requirement document. So, when I say requirement validation, you have to check the requirements, right? How to check that requirements? There is different types of requirement checks are available, and you can do the checks to your requirements that are present in the requirement document. See, what are the checks? Different checks are there here. So, first one is a validity check, and the second one is a consistency check, and the third one is a completeness check, and the fourth one is a realism check, and the fifth one is verifiability. You have to do all these checks for your requirements, whether it is a user requirement or a system requirement, it doesn't matter. You have to do these checks for your requirement. So, what is a validity check? A user may think that a system is needed to perform certain function. That means you have to check whatever the functions you have specified in a requirement document are included or skipped. You have to check that validity. A user may think that a system is needed to perform certain function. You have to check whether all the functions are included in the requirement document or whether it is skipped. You have to check that. That is validity check. What is consistency check? Requirement in the document should not conflict. Very simple. You can't have the two requirements with the same task. Two requirements can't be the same. If two requirements are same, if two requirements are telling about doing the same thing, you can remove one of the requirement. You can remove that conflict. That is consistency. There should not be any contradictory statements. You can't tell the same requirements in a different ways. No. If it is there, it's not consistent. So, you have to remove that type of requirements. Right? That is consistency check. And the next one is completeness check. Completeness check means what? The requirement document should include requirements that define all functions and constraints that are intended by the system user. You have to check all the requirements are there or what. If any requirements are skipped, then I can't tell that complete. It is complete. Not only that, your requirement should explain what they want in a complete way. Along with the functions, it should also include the conditions, constraints also. Then only I can tell that the requirement is complete. For example, authentication feature is there. assume that authentication feature is one requirement. Along with telling about the authentication feature, I also tell about the conditions, like username should be 32 characters long, password should not accept special symbols, like that. Completeness means the requirement has to tell about the functions along with the conditions also, that is completeness. Getting, guys? Validity means you have to check whether all the functions are included. Consistency means two requirements can't be the same. Completeness means along with the function, it has to tell about the conditions also, that is completeness. Realism checks. So realism is, in a simple word, your requirement should be real. You can't tell some imaginary requirements. Your requirement should be in such a way that it should be developed. If you tell the requirements and it can't be developed, means it's not a good thing. Getting, guys? Realism checks has to be done to your requirement. So for example, using the knowledge of the existing technology, the requirement should be checked to ensure that they can actually be implemented. I already told you, your requirement should be in a position to be implemented, to be developed. If you are telling the requirements and you are not in a position to develop, that's not a good thing. That's why you should check for the realism. You should check whether it is possible for us to implement the requirement or not. Getting, guys? That is realism check. Lastly, verifiability. Verifiability means it is used to reduce the potential for dispute between customer and contractor. So the requirement should always be written so that they are verifiable. This means that you should be able to write a set of tests that can be demonstrated that the delivered system meets each specified requirement. In simple words, you should be in a position to check the right requirements. For example, if a customer tells that this requirement is not working, you should be in a position to check that requirement. You should be in a position to verify that requirement and tell that whether it is working or it is not working to the customer. How to do that means, I explained about the test case, right? Test case means you have to write the inputs, you have to write the outputs, and you have to check the particular requirement giving that input, and you have to check whether it is producing the expected output. You should be in a position to verify that. Getting, guys? So you have to do all these checks for your requirement. If your requirement has passed this check, means your requirement is good and you can continue with the development. Getting, guys? And one more important thing, there are a number of requirement validation techniques that are used individually or in conjunction with one another. So requirement reviews, along with the checks, you can use all these techniques also. What is that means? First one is a requirement review. The requirements are analyzed systematically by a team of reviewers who check for errors and inconsistencies. Here I am going to make the requirements to be checked by some of the reviewers. Team will be there. I can assign the task to the separate team to check the requirements. Obviously, I can find out more errors if you do like this. And the next is prototyping, right? So prototyping means it's very simple. So for example, consider we are building a house. To build a house, we can use a blueprint, right? So instead of blueprint, if I use a dummy model of a house, right? So I can easily discover more requirements, right? So that's why prototyping is nothing but creating a dummy model of our software. So once we create the dummy model of the software, our customer can get an idea how the actual software looks like, right? So in this approach to validation, an executable model of the system in question is demonstrated to end users. I already told you, right? The dummy model of the software is demonstrated to customers or end users, and they can experiment with this dummy model. They can use this dummy model to see whether it meets the requirements, their requirements, right? So prototyping is also one technique to discover the requirements and to discover the errors. Customer only discover the errors in the requirements, they will use this dummy software, right? This is prototyping. Next one is test case generation. So this technique, in this technique, what we do means requirement should be testable, right? So requirement should be testable. That's why what we do means we develop a test cases. So if the tests for the requirements are devised as a part of the validation process, this often reveals requirement problems. Why means if we develop a test cases, the test cases may contain the input, expected output, preconditions, post conditions, right? So that's why. So when we develop the test cases, we can come across the error requirements that are having error, and also the requirements that are missed. Getting, guys? So test case generation is one technique to check our requirements, to test our requirements. Getting, guys? Next is requirements management. The first part of the video is completed. The second part I am going to explain about requirement management. So requirement management means you have to right, if you want to delete the requirement, you should be in a position to delete it. If you want to store the requirement, you should be in a position to store it. If you want to change the requirement, you should be in a position to change the requirement also. You should be in a position to manage your requirements. If you want to do some changes, you have to be in a position to do that, right? Whatever you want, you can do with your requirements. That is requirement management. You can store, you can delete, or you can change, right, guys? So see, the requirements for large software systems are always changing, you know that. So when I say software, the requirements may change. That is a very important part of software development. Requirements are not fixed. Requirements may change. Customer may come across with new requirements, right? So once a system has been installed and is regularly used, new requirements inevitably emerge. Obviously, when a customer start using the software, he may come across with the new requirements. And one more important thing, why change is inevitable? Why change happens? Why? Best example I can give of a business and business change. The business and technical environment of the system always changes after installation. For example, consider I am developing a bank application. In the bank application, our competitor, assume that our competitor has introduced one extra feature. So for that, to compete with that company, I have to include that feature in my software also, because of the competition, because of business. Getting, guys? Right? And the next thing, the people who pay for a system and the users of the system are rarely the same people. Obviously, the people who want to use the software will pay for it, right? So system customers may impose requirements because of organizational and budgetary constraints. So if I say a requirement change, it may happen due to organization, company changes, and budget constraints also. Due to costs also, the requirements may change, right? So these are the reasons. And next thing, large systems, the large software usually have a diverse user community. That means the large software can be used by different types of people. So when different types of people use the software, different people may come across with different requirements and different priorities, right? So at that time the requirements may conflict. Getting, guys? So that's why you have to manage your requirements properly, right? Next, so requirement management planning. So if I say requirements management, it is not a simple task. Obviously, it is a set of steps, it is a process. You need to do proper planning to manage your requirements. So the planning is a essential first stage in the requirement management process. So what is the first step in the requirement management process? Planning is the first step. So what it does, what planning does, right? The planning stage establishes the level of requirements management detail that is required. Planning means I have to plan properly. If any changes of requirement happen? First, initially only I have to develop the proper methodologies. Getting guys, planning means you have to do proper survey regarding the requirement management process, right? See, during the requirement management stage, a decision is to be taken on requirement identification. Obviously, if you are managing the requirements, each requirement should be identifiable, because requirement should not conflict, requirements can't be repeated. That's why each requirement must be uniquely identified so that it can be cross referenced with other requirements. You can cross check the requirement with the other requirements, right? So when you cross check the requirements with the other requirements, if any requirements are repeated, you can trace it without any problem, right? Getting guys? Next, a change management process. A change management process means when a user wants to change the requirement, when a user come across with a new requirement, you have to follow some process. If a customer says a new requirement to be added to the software, simply you can't do that. It is not an easy job, because while adding the new requirement to the old software, the old software may stop working. The new requirement may affect the working of the new software. That's why you have to properly manage the requirement change, right? I will explain the change management process in detail in the later part of the video. Next, traceability policies. So these policies define the relationship between each requirement and between the requirements and the system design that should be recorded. Traceability policies means you should have some proper rules to trace the requirements, to cross check the requirements. If you cross check the requirements, you can come across with the duplicate requirements that are repeated, right? So you should have some rules how to trace that requirements, right? The traceability policy should also define how this record should be maintained. Again, so you should maintain the record, you should maintain the file of all the requirements of your software. Getting guys? So when all the requirements of the softwares are recorded, if any requirements are repeated, you can come across with that type of requirements, and you can delete the repeated requirement. So you should have the proper traceability policies, and you should have a proper change management process to manage the requirement changes, right? And you should have a proper identification procedure to identify the requirements. Getting guys? Next, tool support. Obviously, if I say a requirement for a large software, requirement may be in thousands to lakhs, right? So you need a tools to store the requirement, right? You need a tool to search that requirement or process that requirements. You need a tool support, right? So that's why requirement management involves the processing of large amount of information about the requirements. Getting guys? So you need a tool. So tools that may be used, what type of tools I can use means some small tools to specialist tools. For example, spreadsheets, your MS Excel or simple database systems to store that requirement I can use. Getting guys? So why I need a tool support? Why I need a tool support? Tool support might be needed for, I told you, requirement storage. The requirement should be maintained in a secured data store that is accessible to everyone involved in the requirements engineering process, right guys? You have to store the requirements in some place, because each and everybody that is related to the project wants to access that requirement. That's why I need a tool, maybe database, to store my requirement. Change management, I already told you, you need tools to manage the change of the requirements. Change management is nothing but, if any requirement changes you have to include in your software, you need to follow some process to include the requirement change in your software, because change may affect the software. That's why you have to include the requirement change in the software very carefully, right? For example, the requirement change management process is explained here. See here. Suppose if a customer says to include the new requirement, if a customer says to change the requirement, what you have to do means you have to do the problem analysis. You can see their problem identified. That means what is the change you have to do, that is taken here, and you have to do the analysis whether it is possible to change the requirement. You should check it first. So if it is possible, you can proceed further. So change specification. Change specification means what are the changes you have to include in your software. The details will be there in the change specification. Once the details are available, once the analysis is done, you can do the change analysis. Again you can do the change analysis. Once the change requirement is available, you can do the change analysis, and you can also mainly do the costing budget analysis. Is it feasible to do this change, right? If I do this change, can my software work properly without any problems? Suppose if you do the changes, if a problem arises, then it will be not a good sign, right? That's why. So you have to think about the budget for doing this change in the requirements. Once all the analysis is completed, once you are okay with the cost, all those things, you can implement the change. Implement means you can include that change in your software. You can develop that change in your software. Change implementation means the extra requirement. What is the requirement that wants to be changed by the customer can be included in your software, right? Then you can revise requirements. Then you can include this requirement change in your requirement document. Getting, guys? After changing the requirement, you have to include that in the requirement document, because now it is changed. That's why. Getting, guys? Hope you are understanding the concepts. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Next. So I already explained, right? There are three principal stages of the change management process: problem analysis and change specification. I already told you it should be analyzed and it should be checked whether it is valid or not. Change analysis and costing, I told you the proposed change is assessed, right? Whether it is feasible to make the change or what. Next, change implementation means you are developing it. The requirement document, right, should be modified once the change is done, right? Next, traceability management means what? You need a tool support for traceability. For example, if you want to cross check the requirement, you should you should trace that requirement, right? So the tools for that traceability should be there, right? So already some tools are available which use the natural language technique. So you can use that to discover the relationship between the requirements. Traceability can find out the relationship between the requirements, right? One requirement can be related to the other requirement. For example, authentication feature can be related to the create account feature also, because once you authenticate properly only you can create the account. That's why one requirement may related to another requirement. If you have proper traceability tool, you can trace that requirements. You can find out how one requirement is related to another requirement. You can ask a question, why we need to find out the relationship. Means if we find out all the relationship between the requirements, I can easily find out the data flow, and I can easily find out the proper way to include the requirements into my software. That's why, right, guys? So hope you are understanding the concept. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.